I'm gonna ask you actually, Taylor, how do you protect it during your lifetime? Your digital assets, or just if you have business online, how do you protect it?
It should be in a business.
It should be in business.
If you can switch it, not all the social. All right, we're going to get started today. And I'm going to tell actually a pretty crazy thing that I found out. So there is basically this study that they were able to start identifying certain things that happen at certain time periods looking at DNA. So you can take a DNA from a deceased person and know at certain time periods in their life. You know how like they do that with trees. You can look and count how many rings it is to see how old the tree was. Okay. Kind of like that kind of study, but you could dig up somebody and find out when certain things happened in their life at certain times by just looking at their DNA.
That's very.
So basically, like your DNA might be a history book to like what happened physically during your life.
That's cool.
So imagine being able to find one of your grandparents, get some of their DNA, and then know like maybe where they were at a certain time, what happened, and get like have AI and everything, put it all together and go, oh, here's the life story of your great 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 grandfather.
That is so cool.
And some of that they can even get through your DNA.
Is it a private company that does this?
No, I just made that all up. Just and I actually wanted to make that all up for one reason today.
That would be a very good business proposal.
I know. It would be pretty awesome if someone could figure that out. But I wanted to make that up because we have that right now. We call it our social media. Our social media tracks everything that we do. And see how excited you got to think that you could find out maybe like a great-grandfather or great-grandmother exactly what happened?
Yeah.
And we have people all the time right now that don't realize your great-great-grandchildren will have that about you. Mm-hmm. It's what you post on your social media. I mean, they track everything about you, and that's going to be public knowledge. And so how do you pass that on, and who do you want to give that to? That becomes a big deal. And so I want you to tell us what the law is now when it comes to your digital footprint that you're leaving. Who has the rights to that?
Yeah.
Who does? I don't know.
No one but yourself. Unless you set it up.
Okay, unless you set it up. So.
Unless you set it up. So there's this law called Texas Revised. I'm talking about Texas.
Yeah.
But they are, a majority of the states adopted the same, if not similar. It's similar, if not the same, to Texas Revised Uniform Fiduciary Access to Digital Assets Act. So some people would think that if they're setting up their estate planning, it automatically includes all of their assets. But I just found out that it does not. It doesn't include all your assets, and you have to have a specific provision in your estate plan or your will or your trust giving specific authority, even your POAs, even your durable power of attorneys or whatever similar document, they call that in later states. You have to have specific instruction and specific provision for your digital assets so that your fiduciaries or your representatives can have access to. Otherwise, general custodians or user policy would not give access to third persons. So we talk about estate planning. Some people has this thing that they think that if you set up, obviously you want to set up your estate plan, right? But they don't really think about your digital assets.
Yeah.
They just think about their tangible physical assets.
I would say almost everybody that comes into my office to do their estate planning doesn't even cross their mind about their Facebook page.
Yeah, but maybe generations back, they don't really think about that. But now that everything's just digitally accessible, and even just simple bills,
yeah,
they do paperless. They do emails. They do text messages. They do all those things online.
Yeah, I wrote a blog article about this a while back, and it was revolving around. One day I was just sitting there, and one of my friends from high school, he passed, and so I was sitting there, and I was like, "Oh, I just want to go on his Facebook page," and I look around, and it was gone, and like I don't know who deleted it, who had access to it, but you know, we had pictures. He had pictures of on there of us, but we had messages back and forth, and I just wanted to read them again and go back through them.
Can't anymore.
Now they're gone forever, and I was like,
That's so sad.
and we don't realize like how how valuable that stuff is until later on, and you know, I think a lot of people now are starting to experience, and they're waking up to it, going, "Oh, so and so passed away." And I can go back and read my text messages, but when you transfer to your new phone and you don't download all your text messages,
You're not able to.
they go away, and so you lose access to those type of things, and that's something that is far more valuable to people who actually care about you than your money that you're leaving.
Exactly.
It's like like I don't care that you left me $1 million. If I really loved you, I would want every memory that we had together. And like my Google Photos album is mainly my kids, but it's their whole growing up life. And if I were to pass away, I guarantee you 20 years down the road, they're going to be like, remember Dad used to film us all the time doing all this crazy stuff, right, Dallin? Yeah. Downs in here with me. He's my kid. So he's my 18-year-old. He's not my kid anymore. He's an adult. But he would absolutely want that and have that because it's so much of their life is tied up in that.
Exactly.
So you better make sure that my will has the authority to have access to that stuff. Or, the person you're giving authority. Another problem.
Another problem.
Which is you give authority to someone who's spiteful.
Mm-hmm. They can use it against you. They can use it to ruin your reputation for when you're gone or incapacitated. You don't need to pass to be able to, give authorization to someone to give or access to your social media, or not just social media, even your emails, even your just everything online.
Yeah, maybe I should that's like a Pandora's box, but I don't really bring it up in consultations. Is telling people your power of attorney will have access if you're incapacitated to your text messages, and so everybody always gives their spouse. So they might be like, I don't want my spouse to be the power of attorney. I'm going to pick my friend Bill.
Oh, that's really funny because I actually talked to one of my closest friends.
Yeah.
And we were talking about it. And I'm like, oh my gosh, if I pass, who am I going to give access to my phone? Definitely not my family.
Well, but if you put them as your executor,
Yeah.
then they'll have the access.
Yeah. So I told my friend that I'm going to set up my estate plan and I'm going to give my friends, my really close friends who knows my real close friend who knows everything about me, like everything, and there's literally nothing that she doesn't already know.
Yeah.
In my phone. Access to my phone.
For me, I'm not really a private person like most people are.
Same here.
So I'm a pretty open book. I don't care if people know, but you can go, anybody could take my phone and read my text messages. I don't really say anything weird or do anything.
Yeah.
So, but now that I'm thinking about, I know a lot of people who are very private. I don't think I've really communicated that very well to clients, what authority people are going to have over their ability to access certain information that they might not want people to have authority to access. So that's something very important to understand. I'm glad you brought this up today because I do this all day long, and I don't think I've really comprehended how vast of authority that would be.
Well, it's not something that people think about, I want to protect my digital assets. I think
But that's where your most personal thoughts are.
Yeah, but even people who make money online, they're not making substantive steps or efforts in protecting it.
Yeah.
for afterwards. But what people don't realize is that if you do your estate plan, it touches not only your assets now, but your assets after.
Yeah.
So if you start doing, say for example, you start doing business online, or you start creating content, not just like selling stuff, but like majority of content creation and all those are assets that you can protect for yourself, and you can use in the future for your family to, maybe like sell it or just rights over it. That's intellectual property rights.
Yeah, but a lot of the platforms, when it comes to monetization, they have their special rules about when
Yeah.
you die. So like TikTok, so like if you're making money off TikTok, they do not let you transfer it to a third party. You can transfer all the data and all the stuff, like they'll have a right to access it, but you won't have the right to make the money. It stops when you pass. They like turn it off. Facebook, I think it still allows people access and control over and to make money off of when other people have passed away on their reels and different things that they do.
Yeah.
But YouTube and Google, they do, so that can continue on. But like you got to think of someone like Mr. Beast.
Oh, it makes a lot of money.
It makes a lot of money, but man, if he's not watching something like this and understands, like you better have really, really good estate planning attorneys, because at the end of the day, his whole empire is that YouTube channel.
Yeah.
And who has control and power after that? If you pass away, now I imagine he's moved it to a corporation. The corporation owns it. And so the corporation runs it and does everything. But so many people do not. They personally hold it in their names, and it's their name and their likeness. And
I was going to ask you actually, Taylor, how do you protect it during your lifetime? Your digital assets, or just if you have business online, how do you protect it?
It should be in a business.
It should be in a business.
If you can switch it, not all the social media platforms will let you put it into a business, but you want it in a business because you want it that if you're incapacitated, whoever's running the business, I mean, you're going to get to a point if you're running a significant enough business through that platform and it's being run that other people have authority to do things.
Yeah.
And so a business, even though you've passed, it keeps going.
Is it the same effect if you put it in a trust?
Yeah, you could put it in a trust too. That's a different way that you could do it. A trust could be a way that you decide to hold it and do that. But if you're making money off of it, you want it in a business because there's tax things that you could do to really benefit yourself.
It's like you're reading my mind. I was just going to ask, what's the disadvantage if you just put it in a trust? And
it's like I honed it in. It's like a super ability that I have. I can know exactly, like Dallin, I know exactly what he's thinking, like how much longer are they going to talk about this subject. But that is you want it in a business for tax reasons, and there are trusts are not good tax vehicles generally. There are some reasons why you use trusts, but there's special type of trusts for tax reasons for certain types of taxes. So right now, if you are making good money off of social media, you need to really think of it and run it like a business and get it set up right. Because you can become incapacitated, you could pass away, and then your family who may rely on it.
Let's talk about sentimental value of just your digital assets. People don't really think about the reason why I think people don't think about it is just because it's just sentimental. They don't really make money off of it, but they don't know how much value it could give to people when they pass.
Yeah. This is going to be a hard shift for humanity to make, but it's happening. And that is how little actually money is going to mean in the future. And people don't really believe necessarily when I start talking about this, but I'm going to make my argument right now. The purpose of money is for you to be able to get people to do things they would not do to get resources. That's why we have money. That's what it started off as. I want to get you to do something that you don't want to do, so I'm going to give you money because you want money so you can go get the things you actually want.
That's why they say money can buy everything.
Exactly. The problem comes that if AI and robots can get our resources, I'm not talking about do white-collar jobs that the AI is starting to do now. I'm talking about actually getting resources for us. So robots, and then AI being able to manage all that like a human could manage it. And so people don't need to work to get resources anymore. Money loses its value significantly. You don't need money. You only maybe need some kind of concept of money to limit people from using all the resources on the earth. Because you can't have everybody go, well, we have unlimited resources, so I want 20 houses. And so the shift, if robots come about and they can function like humans, there's going to be a huge shift from humans needing to do the work to get the resources to robots doing it. Therefore, money loses value. So what is really valuable to people once you can, your housing's taken, your food, you can go eat anywhere you want. It doesn't cost you anything. You can go travel as much as you want. You don't have to worry about all the mundane things that you worry about. What do you value? Experience, right?
Definitely experience.
And then your memories. So what's going to really be the most valuable thing in the future? Your digital assets. Yeah. Especially remembering the time before you had, like, future generations are going to look back on us and go, wow, how primitive that was. They had to spend their whole days doing mundane work to eat. That's going to be really, and it's going to be a weird shift. It's going to be very difficult, and it's going to be very hard for humans to do that because it took us a long time to evolve to be able to function with money. And then you're going to just all of a sudden one generation go, oh, you don't need that anymore. I don't know. I don't know what that's going to do. But we might need money to limit resource use. And that might be how we
But
use
it won't be as valuable as people think.
It's going to be very hard for you to realize your stock portfolio is worthless. It's like, who cares if you have $20 billion? The lifestyle of a guy that has nothing is going to be the same. He can get access to a yacht because a yacht can be built by robots in a week. And so if you want to be a one-up, if we want to continue to have this hierarchy society where a few people are at top and the rest are at the bottom in enslavement, that's going to be very hard to justify when robots do all the work.
And you don't have to deal with emotions and a lot of drama in the office and, a lot of those things.
Yeah. It's going to be, people aren't going to, I don't think in the future people will own homes because you won't want to stay in one spot. You'll just it'll be like Airbnb, but there's no cost for anything. I'm going to go stay in this place for a few months and see what it's like and go to this place because there'll be plenty of homes for everybody. There's not unlimited resources, so there can't be unlimited homes, but it's going to be a completely different way of how we approach the world. So that's the future.
That's a future.
That's going to be a fun future for us. Just don't screw it up, people. Stop hating on each other and realize we're almost there. We're almost there.
We are. Going back, though, what do you think are the steps that people should take? Just like basic steps that people should take in protecting their digital assets.
One, you need to have your documents in place, which is power of attorneys, your will. And then the second part is understanding what power that you're going to give them.
Yeah.
So if you're scared that the person you're giving to might find that information that you don't like, you might want to get rid of the information, number one. But be very careful how you word in there what powers you're giving. Like, if you don't want people to have access to text messages, you need to specifically state that in a power of attorney. You can have this, but do not have access to my text messaging.
Well, not even that, Taylor. You can be like, say, for example, iPhone. Have all my passwords on there. So it's not just giving access to my phone. It's giving access to everything else. To everything else. But I don't know if that's legal. Is it because they have the password, that's why it's legal? Or do you think?
Well, if you gave it the power within a power of attorney, yeah, then they'd have legal rights. But I mean, they're your fiduciary; they have to do what's in your best interest. They use it against you, then you could sue them.
Yeah.
But that's going to be the biggest thing. So that's making sure you understand what you're doing, and then
taking account of what you actually have.
Yeah.
Your assets in general. I feel like if I would do maybe one thing that we should start doing is advising clients to make actual inventory of their assets. It also saves time for when they pass, like their executor or administrator or legal representative, to find what they actually have.
Yeah.
Like in your lifetime, just write whatever you have, put it somewhere that people can access
And,
when you pass.
and scrub your stuff. Make sure that you clean it up, because when you're dead,
Yeah.
that night that you had a little too much fun and filmed it and put it up online will be forever remembered by your grandchildren. Look, there's grandma. Look, she's a little wild, wasn't she? But it might be good to them see, like, oh, she was wild too.
Oh, she was fun
Yeah.
too. That's it.
All right. I think we're good.
Yeah.